Well, hey, folks, I'm here with Phil Horwitch, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, and got quite a cool startup story in solar, about 10 years from residential to utility, and focusing on simplifying, I think it's utility scale solar project development. Nice to meet you, Phil.
Nice to meet you as well, Adam. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, of course. Well, I was really intrigued with your angle about simplifying it. So, and I understand that comes with some number of years of experience, and then offering that knowledge to the world. I mean, it's a little bit of, and we're going to get into it, but you're almost offering secret sauce, saying, "Here's what I learned, and I'm going to share it with the world because why?"
Yeah, pretty much. I got tired of just saying the same thing over and over and over again, whether it was talking to a developer, an EPC, or even some homeowners back in the day. So I was just complaining so much, and my wife just came to me and was like, why don't you just start explaining all of these acronyms and terms that y'all have in the industry so the regular person can have a intelligent conversation at the dinner table, and it's bad to say, not get scammed out because they didn't understand what a PPA or any of these three-letter acronyms that we like to use in the industry are.
Well, good for you. I love that passion about sharing knowledge. That's near and dear to my heart for sure. Well, Phil, when did your story begin? When did your career begin?
Oh, let's see, about 10 years ago. I originally grew up in Texas, went to Baylor as well, and then coming out of college, I had the opportunity to go into the solar industry or go into the oil and gas industry. And obviously, since I'm on your podcast, you can see which route I took on that side. So got called some names being from Texas, not going into oil and gas, but seemed to all work out in the long run on that side. Started in residential, and then that got a little bit too cookie cutter for me on that side, and tried to go under the utility scale through construction. And now we're full engineering, and we do construction support on that side as well. So kind of saw the whole funnel of solar throughout the entire career.
That's a great start. All right. If you got a little trash talk from going into solar in Texas, you must be in the Houston area, or are we out in the western oil? Are we in the oil field area?
I was about to say, what's a dead giveaway that I'm from Houston? I don't think there's any reason behind that. Yeah, I grew up in the Houston area, but we actually just moved away from Texas about 6 months ago. So now I actually live in Florida.
Okay. We're in Florida yet.
Yeah, we are about an hour east of Orlando in the Melbourne area, so about 10 minutes from the water.
Oh, man. Loving it there, I bet.
Oh, it's like when we moved here, I was driving around and I was like, it's like we live in a paradise now. All the palm trees and always in shorts all the time. And like I said, you have a bad day or you're too overworked. It's a 10-minute drive to the beach and you just get to go relax on that side. And an hour from Disney. So can't complain about that one either.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I get to go to Florida. Well, it seems like about 4 times a year for work. And, always take some time
we
to
love
enjoy
it so far.
The landscape there. Yeah, very cool. So you started in residential, though. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir. I actually started at a company most people know is Sonova. So that was my first residential job on that side. And then from there, kind of moved all over. Worked from Sonova, then I worked for some residential companies and moved out to California. Thought it was probably the smartest idea to go to the heart of the beast of where the industry was back then, go learn for a couple years. And then my overall goal was to always bring solar back into Texas. So I lived there for 3 years. My goal was 3 years. I actually lived in California for 2 years and 360 days. And then we decided to move back to Texas for another engineering job on that side. And then the rest is kind of history from Texas back to Florida. So we're coast to coast.
Very cool. Okay, so you did a few different job types. You weren't always developing. You started off, is it an engineering role to start with?
Correct. That's what my background is. My background is mechanical and electrical engineering.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
what was the focus when you started? What was your responsibility?
Basically only plan set reviews. So we did only residential. It was Sunnova's like a financing and O&M company on that side. So we'd go through, make sure that all their breakers were correct and the system's not going to blow and everything like that. So it was just your entry level job, making sure that all the math lined up on that side.
Yep. Very important one. Very important
definitely.
one. Okay. And then when you went off to Texas, what were you doing there?
Yeah, well, that was in Texas. Then I moved out to California, worked for another residential company, basically building their entire like systems on that side. And then that's after that job, I got into utility scale. That's where we started to build the large scale projects all over basically the entire country. Got to see a completely different side of the industry and kind of learn from that side. And so my goal on that side is I'm being an engineer. Most construction people truthfully hate engineers because we think you can draw anything and you just need to go build it exactly how we drew. So I wanted to go actually work with a field company, learn how it's actually done in the field before I went and got all my engineering licenses on that side. So went to construction, and then once I moved back to Texas, I was fully working for multiple engineering companies, and now I own one.
Wow, congratulations. Well played. Well played on getting that field experience, that real world time under your belt to start with.
You learn a lot when you're in the field with all of these guys that you would never be able to draw on a piece of paper. And that was the main thing is, like I said, they always usually hate engineers because I'm saying, put it here and this is how it's got to go. So I kind of took the different way where I wanted to see what they had to say, because it's bad to say, most of them are truly smarter than all of us that sit behind a screen and a computer all day, because they're the ones that are actually installing it and doing the maintenance on them. So if we can take all of their work and actually put it into a plan set and make it a lot easier for them in the field, then it's only easier for everybody, from the developer all the way to the actual EPC that's doing the install of the project.
Mm-hmm. There are plenty of stories, and I wonder if you have one where an engineer sends out the plans and and tells the installer, do it this way. The installer calls back and said, you come and try.
Yes, I have heard that a bunch on that side. Or what piece of equipment were you actually wanting to install this 30-foot pile with on that side? So yeah, happens all the time. But that was the main reason why I wanted to go the construction route before, to kind of mitigate as many of those issues as we can. The guys out in the field are some of the smartest guys that I've worked with in my entire career.
Very, very cool. All right. What was the transition like from residential to utility solar?
Oh, completely different. Obviously. Yeah. Residential is like you have a square roof or a rectangular roof and every panel fits where it's supposed to go. Easiest way to put it is it's like it's cookie cutter. I was doing the same thing over and over and over again on that side, where you get into the large scale and you have massive amounts of acreage that needs to be graded. You got to put ponds in, and then you have all the different spacings that you have to learn. So it was like getting ran over by a freight train when I first got into it, and drinking from a fire hose I feel like it's years. I still drink from the fire hose some days with everything that's coming out, with how it's changing on a daily basis, I feel like. So, but definitely keeps it a lot more interesting on the utility scale side.
You like it more?
Oh yeah, there's no easy jobs anymore. At least back in the day, there was at least some flat sites that you could get, and you would get in and get out, and nobody really knew what this solar thing was back then, so they didn't really care. But now it's just a whole different type of problems and issues that we just try to mitigate throughout on that side. So keeps us busy and keeps my mind turning, at least.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I agree. I went the other, I didn't really go the other way, but I installed my own solar panel system on my house about 5 years ago.
Nice.
And
Batteries or what?
Just panels. And I designed it, paid somebody maybe like yourself to do a plan check and stamp it so I get my permit. And I had no idea what I was doing, man. I made power. What cracked me up was, since I had no idea, I installed it by myself in 40 hours of my own labor. It
That's
was
pretty
easy.
good though.
I guess. I don't know. I was amazed it went so fast. And then I failed the inspection 3 times. 3 times. Small little, electrical conduit and junction boxes and connectors that were one code or the other. And the inspector always said, "You got to turn it off." And I went, "Sure," and let him leave. I went, "No, I'm making power."
Yeah.
It's
Like,
pre-COD.
yeah.
It's pre-COD power.
It's off. Don't worry about it. You can trust me. It's off. No, just don't touch anything. I mean, 40 hours is pretty good for a one-man crew on that side.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would take me way longer to install that than 40 hours at least. Don't worry. So.
There were some funny things that I got a little wrong. My solar zero angle wasn't quite right, but I know you kind of deal with what you have in residential.
Yeah.
Some shading issues that I didn't calculate the loss quite right. So, I'm like a quarter of a, I don't know if I'm quarter of a megawatt off or something like that. Really kind of bothers me.
No, not at all. It never bothers you if you're still talking about it. No, the worst part about residential is I don't know why they would put like the reverse tilt with those big legs to get your production on it. And man, there's some funky things that you see on the residential side. I mean, there's some funky things you see on the utility scale side. So it's a great industry, but keeps us all on our toes, to say the least.
For sure. So what's the name of your firm here? I missed it.
We are AMH Holdings.
AMH Holdings.
Yes, sir.
How old is AMH Holdings?
We've been in business for about 5 years now.
Okay. And it's an engineering firm?
Correct. We're like an engineering consulting firm on that side. Most of our business is going to be on the solar side, but we do other aspects of engineering for like development of different types of parts and everything like that. But that's more like my fun work when I kind of just want to get out of the solar industry for a little bit.
That's you have to have a few extra side projects, otherwise you'll get that mundane situation coming back.
Yeah, exactly. So we take on all types of engineering from civil all the way up to electrical on that side. So our team's capable of going all the way to an IFC plan set, but our bread and butter and what I like to hit is kind of up to like a 10 or 15% plan set and get in as early as possible and kind of do all the pre-due diligence on the project and say, hey, here's why your permitting is going to be a little bit bad, and give them a realistic schedule, a realistic time frame, and kind of mitigate all the issues before they actually start spending the millions and millions of dollars that some of these projects take on.
Well, you're an important person and company to talk to and make that step then before we start finding those millions.
Appreciate it.
Which states do you operate in?
We pretty much have worked in all 48 states. So we do California a little bit, but truthfully, it's one of the states that we try to stay out of just because they change their laws all the time. So it makes it a little bit harder. But if somebody comes to us with a California project, it's not like we can't do them. But a lot of our projects right now are going to be in Texas, just because that's where our bread and butter was in before we left. And then we have a lot of projects on the East Coast as well, on like the Virginias, Pennsylvanias, New York, and Maine, and pretty much all up and down the coast on that side is kind of where we're region, but we've spread out all the way wherever is needed to go.
Oh, very nice. Yep, I'm very familiar with California permitting challenges. So understand the decision.
Yeah, it's not that, like I said, it's not that we can't do it, but those are definitely a whole different beast. And I mean, you're going to truly there's a bunch of companies in California that know their specific niche area that they have down to a science, where we can do all the research and everything like that. But if you have a smaller company, they're going to know it a little bit better, and they're going to truthfully know the person that's going to review in the plan set, and they're going to probably be good buddies with them, and they're going to probably be a little bit better on these smaller counties on that side.
You walked right over that good buddy statement, but it's heavier than you let on.
Always got to have those good buddies. We've been working in the same county for, I mean, I think it's basically like 4 or 5 years, pretty much the entire existence of AMH. And I unfortunately have the inspector's phone number, and me and him talk all the time on that side. So it started off that we would butt heads, and then now he's like, hey, you just need to fix this and you're going to be good. It's like, okay, cool. Do we need to resubmit? He's like, nah, I'll sign you off on this one. So the relationships that you build in these counties are the main thing that kind of get us through on track and on schedule.
I couldn't agree more. And it's not that anybody's trying to cut a corner. We're just trying to be transparent and get questions answered. That's it.
Yeah, that's all that it is. And it's usually because they don't really know about solar. I mean, I've been in town meetings and they think you're going to grow a third arm out of your ear or out of your back or something like that on that side, just because they don't know anything about it. And that's our whole game plan for 2026 is to kind of help with that on that side. So you don't get these crazy things of, am I going to get cancer from solar? No, you're not. It's just going to help produce a little bit of power for you on that side.
I've never had so many sunburns until solar came to town. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, the stories that you get at some town hall meetings, and like the worst one I can think of is in the middle of Ohio. They came up with some of the most outlandish things that I've ever heard of in my life. So it's great.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Altair Energy Services, and their highly trained, expert technical staff, leveraging decades of renewable power management experience into customized solutions for everyone to meet their energy goals and contribute to a better future for all. Altair's team of hardworking, respected experts are providing full-scope, turnkey repairs, planned and unplanned maintenance, system upgrades, fully autonomous technical crews, supplemental staffing, and customized dynamic scheduling to fit your power production needs. Contact Altair at info@altairenergyservices.com and learn more about their wide range of capabilities across multiple power technologies and platforms. How many of your projects have you seen come to, go COD versus not make it there because the investor and developer decided that something is wrong?
We're working so early on right now on projects. A lot of the projects we're working on right now are more in like the 2028, 2029 time frame. So we're trying to get in, 3 to 4 years before they even see the light of day on that side. But this past year we saw 3 to 4 projects go to COD depending on when they flip the switch on that side. But over the next 2 to 3 years we should be seeing a lot more on that side. We will manage entire RFPs for projects and provide them with different subcontractors. So we're kind of getting into more newer services that we're going to be offering to actually see the long-term project actually get built instead of just seeing it on a piece of paper on my desk.
Well, so it doesn't sound like you're seeing too many just come to a stop.
No, not really. We're kind of like, one of my biggest things from RE Plus this past year was we're turning into like a resilient industry finally, where everybody's kind of used to the solar coaster that we have. So I wrote an article about it and it was like, we're finally like this real industry. We're not this fake thing that anybody can just try to kick and push under the rug. We're finally there where we're main stable and actually an industry where it's like, yeah, we're going to be around for a while. Just better get over it.
Definitely. And fast power.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you get a great, cool, very, very neat perspective from somebody that gets to connect with lots of different companies looking to develop 3 and 4, 2 to 4 years out in the future. What are you seeing? What's our future look like in terms of growth?
A lot of just standalone battery storage is what we saw over like from probably the start of 2024 into this year, we did probably 80% like solar arrays and probably 20% just battery storage. And in 2025, that basically like swapped to where it's just going to be standalone battery storage, which completely makes sense. It takes a lot less land on that side. So I think that's what we're going to be more seeing. And a lot of the things that we're seeing is we got to start thinking about it is like with a lot of repowers coming in where some of these panels are getting a little bit on the older side, or they're beat up, or they just don't have as much wattage as we can. So we're seeing a couple repowers that are coming through the works, just nothing in fruition yet, but kind of just one of those things that we're looking forward to is doing some of those where it's like, go out and can these cables do everything that these newer modules that we're going to place on actually work, or what's the actual process of removing everything from this site, and how does that actually work, and how does it like affect the land that this farmer sold to us years and years ago, and are they happy with it once it's gone, or do they just want it again afterwards on that side? So those are kind of the two trends that we're kind of seeing over the past year that we've noticed on our team.
Interesting. Any combination of solar and battery, or seeing more of that build together?
Yeah, a couple of them, but truthfully, it's more just a lot of standalone on that side, especially like I was saying earlier, there's not a lot of flat land that's just easy to install where you bring in, you come in and come out on that side. So a lot of people are just getting some smaller blueprints, or people aren't just wanting to sell their land for an immense amount of years some of these PPAs are requiring. So they're able to get to one farmer that's, I got a couple acres for you, and they can slap some batteries on there and actually call it a day for that. And so I think that's going to be the big thing coming forward, is seeing more batteries, but there's always going to be solar. We see that, but it definitely saw a switch in 2025 of when it kind of took more turn of the standalone battery storage.
I'm seeing the same. I think we're hitting the next boom in energy for our country is going to be focused on battery storage.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a learning curve. We have like a weekly thing where we try to learn everything on that side. And I mean, we did like 3 or 4 months of it where everything was battery storage, because they were saying some terms and I was like, I got to learn battery storage so I can actually be intelligent about it and actually speak about it on that side. And there's probably new things that I learn on a weekly basis about battery storage that I'm like, oh, that's how it actually works, or that's what that term means. So it's definitely keeping us on our toes on that side, to say the least.
Well, I can appreciate that. Most of my career was wind, and then a little solar, and then battery storage. They changed all the acronyms on me. All new acronyms.
Those are three completely different things on that side. All have their own pains, but yeah, they're all good on that portion. So.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what are some of the simplification techniques that you like to teach, or areas that you like to educate in to help share that simplification concept?
Yeah, it's mainly just like easy analogies that you're going to see, like what is a megawatt or a megawatt hour, and we're just trying to simplify that down. So it's like the size of an engine, for instance, putting it down to like an odometer or something like that, to where it's like the normal person knows what an odometer is, and it basically is just a running of how many miles you have. It's not an exact analogy for your megawatt hours, but it's something that somebody can actually truly understand and actually realize, being like, oh, well, that's kind of like my gas tank. It's storing gas for me and it runs out. And that's kind of what a solar battery does on that side. So it's kind of just making it a little bit easy to where, like I said, they're at a dinner table, somebody brings up something, or they have one of us crazy people as friends that love solar, and we start talking about it, and they're like, oh, I actually know what that means. I'm not going to just sit here silently. I can actually have an intelligent conversation with them on that side.
Yeah, for sure. What do you tell them when they ask, what's the value of battery storage? Why should we even do it?
That's a good one. Especially on the utility scale, I get that a ton on, like, I just have friends and that'll ask me about batteries, especially we had a bunch of freezes in Texas over the past like 3 or 4 years. And I always got the question like, oh, well, I have solar on my house. Why doesn't it work when my power's out? Well, it's like, yeah, that's not really how it actually works. And they're like, but that's what the solar salesman told me. And I was like, well, they mainly were worried about getting the sale, and they obviously got that. So you do need a battery on that side. So it's kind of just like learning those different nuances of, hey, I have, for instance, residential, I have solar in my house. That doesn't mean that when the power goes out, I'm going to be able to still hook up everything to my outlets. I got to have a battery on that side. So it's hard to explain like utility scale because nobody actually understands how massive some of these plants can actually be. So some of the homeowners, we try to pretty much bring it down to like if they would have it done in their house on that side.
That's pretty good. I continue to go to society kind of answers. Like, look how many people want to drive, or all of us in society want to drive electric cars. Yeah, I got to be careful, right? We want to drive electric cars. And hey, you did good. I saw you installed a hot tub. Yeah, well, that's more energy, right? And yeah, right. And all the extra electronics that we're using, we're buying and plugging in. You have to power it, right? You need that bigger gas tank in the country.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's all that we're trying to do on that portion is, like I said, was example, your hot tub is you added this hot tub to your house and you had this system that was put in your house 10 years ago that has solar. Well, that system's going to probably be a little bit different and undersized now, or hey, I got this system when it was just me and my partner on that side, and now I have 2 or 3 kids running around. Well, it's probably not going to power the exact same thing with 2 or 3 little kids running around blasting all the music and power and everything like that. So it's a fun thing because it also gets me back into the weeds of when I was an earlier engineer working at it. I get to do all the research on it and kind of put these analogies together. So kind of reminding me of all the smaller things that you learn at the very beginning where you're like, oh, I totally forgot about this. That's actually, it's bad to say, that's actually what it does now on that side. And it's the small things that you forget when you're not in a plan set every single day because your designer, your engineer is in there. It allows me to kind of get in there and actually remember what all of these different aspects are and have a little bit more fun with it. We're all supposed to have fun at work, right?
You're supposed to. If you're not, make a change. Make a change.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I love that you're bringing simplification terminology to the household, right? To the family units and things like that. And you just talked about a plan set. And earlier you talked about maybe gaps between engineering on paper and in the field. So what are you doing? Do you have some tips and techniques for bridging that communication gap from engineering to the field installers to help simplify language or process?
Yeah, I mean, we mainly look at that for like processes wise. The guys in the field, it's like I said earlier, half of them are way smarter than all of us that are just sitting behind this computer, and they actually know how it's going to be installed. So the way that we like to do it is, I know a bunch of construction guys throughout, and we'll like get with them when we're putting together like these 5, 10, or 15% plan sets, and truthfully just get them to like consult for us real quick. And it's like, hey, how does this actually look? Is this actually going to be able to be installed correctly, or is this not going to work at all on that side? And I tell them every time we do it, I was like, be as mean as you want. You can tell me that this is the worst plan set that you've ever seen in your life and mark it up. And if it comes back to me fully read, then that means that we just get to take those lessons learned and move them on to future projects on that side. So it's more how we just run it to get these guys in at the beginning. So when it does get to the end and they see these, they're like, oh, they actually listened to us on that side. Or, hey, they didn't listen to us, and then they come to us and we say why we couldn't listen to you on that side. And then we get to have a little bit of fun with them on that side.
There's always some good give and take. Well, okay, I love it. I think what I heard was go have the conversation, right? Be communicating, get out to the field or bring them to the conference room, one way or the other, and be communicating more. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with like technology nowadays. I mean, unless they're, which is possible, they're in the middle of nowhere with no cell service or anything like that, but they have to have a Wi-Fi signal. Most of these sites have signals that we just get them on. We send them a quick PDF and I'll literally tell them, hey, print it out on your printer, redline it as much as you can, and you can just text us a picture, anybody on our team a picture. And if we have any questions when we're adjusting these plans, we'll just give you a call and walk through it, because like they're the ones that are going to be actually doing the install later on in a year or two. Might as well get these issues because they're going to be an issue no matter what. If we can rectify them 2 to 3 years in advance, that could save the developer a ton of time, energy, and overall money for the project to actually make sure that it goes to COD on that side.
I love it. No, that's brilliant. Very wise, Phil. The engineer sees how it has to end up, and the installer sees how to get there. Right? This is destination versus the path.
Exactly. We're all smart individuals, but we're only smarter when we all come together as a team and use one person's strengths and the other person's strengths to come together to just have a great project overall. It's not about what company did its best. It's, can we all just come together as one group of companies and get the actual project done and on time as the main thing.
Phil, I like your style. And
Thank you.
I like your style. I love the humility too, and the kudos you give to the installers. You're the right kind of engineer that we need in this industry to keep it moving forward, offering that communication and recognizing the wisdom, experience, knowledge in the other fields. And just as, so kudos. Don't stop, man. I love that style. I want to tell a contrasting story. I worked with an engineer, and he came out to the field once. Now, I won't say the names and tell you about the project, but it was kind of a very unique project. And I asked him to explain to me how it works. And his first thing out of his mouth was a question. He said, Adam, what's the highest level of math you ever took?
Oh, God.
And I said, I think we're done here.
Oh, God.
I think we're done here. And I said, I don't know, but I didn't come out to North Dakota in the winter in blue jeans.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's literally what most engineers are going to come to do. Or it's bad to say, you'll see engineers come to site and they have the brightest safety vest and the whitest hard hat impossible. And you're just like, okay, this guy's never been in the field before on that portion. So anytime you go to a new site, it's always a pain when you have to wear a new hard hat and you're like, I actually somewhat know what I'm talking about. They just gave me a new one, guys. Come on, give me a little bit of credit.
You got to put stickers on it. That's the trick. Right away, you got to go stickers
True.
Before you get out there. Then you fit in.
Exactly, very true. But no, I mean, I love some of the best projects we've done in time just hanging out with the guys in the field on that side. It's like they're some of the most humble and some of the most smartest guys that you'll ever meet. They just chose a career where they don't mind traveling all the time, which is even more, respectable on that side. I get to be in my cozy office, see my wife and son and dog every single day, where they might go a year and a half without seeing their entire family. So it's one of the most underrated jobs that you could have on that side. So might as well use their intelligence and their knowledge to make these projects that much easier.
Mm-hmm. A fair number of us out there have contemption or fear or contempt maybe for the office and the desk. And we don't want it. We don't want it.
Nope. Some days I have the same thing where I'm just like, oh man, this desk is killing me. I got to go out and do it again. And then I'm like, you do it for a week and you're like, yep, I need to get back to my desk. That was a mistake.
All right. I love the human approach here. So, all right, maybe back to, you talked about design, you talked about permitting. Are there some things that are unnecessarily complicated in the process of developing a new solar or battery plant?
The main thing that we see, it truly does have to do with the permitting process. That's the portion of your project where you can see the most lapse on it. We've done projects where we've gotten permitted in about a week, and then we're working on a project right now where it's taken 2.5 years and we still don't have a permit on that side. And I keep telling them, it's like, there's truthfully nothing that we can do on this one. It's just this county or the state or the Department of Transportation just says that they want to have solar in their state when they really just want to be able to say that they have solar in their queue on that side. And so the biggest thing that we try to work on is just being realistic with these developers and owners and saying like, hey, you're going to go to this county. It can be 60 days, but that's for one revision cycle. This county is actually going to take you 4 or 5 revision cycles to get approved. So keep that in the back of your pocket when you're going to your construction guys and actually getting them a schedule. Tell them that this is going to take us two years to actually get this final permit, because then they get to actually extrapolate their prices for 2 years from now, so y'all can get a realistic price to make sure that the project even makes sense for everybody. We don't want to waste anybody's time.
Yeah. I was afraid you were going to say permitting. We've hit that a few times. Yeah. I've gone through some horrible loops myself with permitting, and it seems unnecessarily complicated to ask for, I don't know, things that don't make sense, right? Flood studies in the desert or...
oh, God, yeah.
You like that one?
I do like that one. I do like that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So it's the permits. Yeah, same. I thought that it might go there. Well, when you do those red lines back and forth that you talked about, so a little bit of rework, do you see more of it in the early design assumptions, skip permitting, or the construction feedback loop?
Definitely the construction feedback loop on that side. We'll send it to these guys and they're like, hey, this isn't actually going to work. Why don't you run something underground or above ground on that side to make it a little bit easier? Or, hey, you probably don't want to grade this right here because it's going to flow this way, because they'll actually be on a site and actually see it. So it's more just getting like the lessons learned that they have in the field using their experience, and then they get to bring it back to us and we have to do the math behind it to make it actually work on that side. So that's probably where the biggest red lines come, just because they do like to get creative and they've seen a lot of things and had a lot of bad projects, probably worse projects than me and you have seen just sitting behind a desk on that side. They actually get to see it come to fruition and how long these projects can actually go if there is one bad pile or one bad pond or one bad cable on this project. So definitely on the construction side, but that's why we try to bring them in, and it seems to be working out on so far on some of our projects.
Okay, makes sense. And does anything change with the QA, the QC, timing, final sign off? Are there constraints that occur because of the red lines during the construction phase?
Yeah, I mean, you have like our red lines that you come through in your as-built and you come on, but we've pretty much developed a whole in-house process where any comment gets directly like logged into our overall like CRM system, and then it goes directly into an owner, and then the owner has to answer that question verbally before it actually goes out to anybody. And when they get that updated plan set, they only necessarily get like the revision cloud that you see on your normal plan sets, but if they actually get like a verbal description of, hey, here's what we did, because then they don't have interpreted what they actually did. We get to say, we did this because of X, Y, and Z, and then it usually gets signed off. If you're as transparent and as easy as it can be to make them not have to read into anything, seems to get the job done a lot faster.
Okay. And then what have you seen, or have you seen any benefits so far with AMH or in your career from those changes? Then you get to take those learnings to the next project, right? When you're going to design and I mean, any stories you have for us on process improvements that you've witnessed or walked through from some of that, or even like tooling, could be tooling technology advances?
Yeah, I mean, and especially in 2025 with the age of AI coming, it's changing the game completely. I mean, it's smarter than everybody combined put into one overall human. So it's making our research process just so much faster, more efficient, and we can make sure that you're just not having that human error. I mean, we run all of our plan sets through basically an AI bot that we created internally, and it's going to check your title blocks and your notes and everything like that, because you can have a person do that, but the regular person is just going to like miss the random title block because they've seen it on 85 out of 100 pages, where the computer's not going to miss it on that side. We still have humans. I think our QC process is 2 to 3 people actually have to go through and actually sit down with the plan set. I mean, I still print plan sets out when I use them, and I still like to use a red pen and do it that way, and then I scan it into our team. But we kind of use it to, or use AI to just make it to where it's like the boring things that truthfully nobody wants to do is going to do, and then we just kind of update it on that side to get our QC process better. Our whole team does like time audits once a month, so we can see if they're doing any repeatable task. Well, if you have this repeatable task, can I automate that using something to make it a little bit easier? Because it might be a task that you truthfully hate doing, but you have to do because it's your job. If I can automate it, that also can give you a bunch of time back to where you can come to us with something that maybe help advance the entire industry on that side, instead of having to do this, boring work that you don't actually truly like to do on that side. So we're kind of integrating AI as much as we can to help us out.
Ooh, that's so Phil, I think, did I hear it right? Is your AI bot today the same as your first job out of college?
Pretty much that's what it is. It's the research assistant, and it's way smarter than I was when I was firstly coming out of college too. Way more detailed too. I could only imagine. So, yeah, but yes, I've never actually thought of it that way, but yes, we built an AI bot of what I did at the very beginning. I like that.
Well, you would know how to train it then.
Yeah, so no, it gets the job done, and like it's smarter than all of us logically wise, not conceptually wise like we were talking about with the construction guys, but you tell it to do a task and it's all about the command prompt and the coding behind. But that's what I kind of like to do for fun anyways, is code on that side. So once you have it down, pretty much runs seamlessly, and then we just do audits on it, check it, and then, like I said, we still have humans touch everything that goes out the door.
You built your AI bot. You coded it.
We did, yes. Yeah, I learned to, it's bad to say, I learned to code back in the day because they had like when you were a kid, your parents always put like these trackers on your computers and everything like that. So I learned to code when I was like 7 or 8 because I just wanted to go to YouTube when I was a kid and watch some videos. So I had to learn to code to get around the like nanny net tracker that they had on our computer when I was growing up as a kid that my parents put on it. So kind of took that and ran with it. I have a minor in computer science, and it's one of those hobbies that I just have that I just like to tinker in on that side.
That's impressive, buddy. That's impressive.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that side skill and hobby from, solar, engineers, civil, electrical. You got mechanical in there. I heard a little bit. You got your own company now. You're offering these services, and you designed your own AI bot. How hard was it?
Say that again. Sorry, you cut out real quick.
Oh, how hard was it to write your code and design your own AI bot for plan checks?
Oh, it was a pain. Yeah, it's a pain, but it's fun. That's the work that I like to do in the middle of the night, where everybody's asleep all over the country, and I'm just sitting in my office just grinding away. And it was pretty much like the recording myself of doing all the boring work, and then you have to bring that into the bot and actually say what this field needs to be and all of that. So it isn't the most glorious work, but I tell our whole team, if there's something that you don't like doing, at least bring it to me. Let me see if I can automate it for you to make it 5 or 10% better, because then you might actually like to do it. And that allows them to, they can tell me all the time that that work is boring. I mean, parts of my day are boring. Nobody's going to have the best job unless you're, Elon Musk, who has an endless amount of money and gets to do whatever he wants, but none of us are that fortunate on that side. So we're all going to have some types of boring aspects of our work. But if I can make that 5 or 10% better, then I get that 5 or 10% where you get to come to me maybe with a great idea, and we get to implement that, whether for it's AMH or one of our clients, or personally as well on that side. It allows us to go have 5 to 10% of more fun outside of work.
Oh, very cool. You might have inspired me to look into that, not personally, but figure out how to incorporate some of it. Hey, even Elon Musk has bad days.
Truth. Right? Exactly.
I don't think Elon Musk planned for him to get hatred messages on the social media company he just bought.
That is very funny on that side of when you get hate on the platform that you bought. So yeah, everybody has bad days, but if we can make it 5 or 10% better because of, better say, something that I can code to automate, like emails, for instance. All of our emails are automated to go directly into our system, into like our task board on that side. You put it to a different category, pops it all up, so you don't have to waste that only 10 to 15 seconds to track it. Automatically does it for you. Makes it so much easier where they don't also miss a task because it was something that you just forgot about, or somebody came in from your kid ran in and wanted you to do something with them. You click tag, you go hang out with your family for 15, 20 minutes, have a little bit of fun, come back knowing that it's actually still in our system, that you just get to it later. It's all about having fun, especially most of us all have families, so why not get a little bit more family time in it, especially working from home. My family's always at home. Might as well hang out with them as much as I can.
Yes, definitely. You say 10 to 15 seconds to maybe run that process, file it, or whatever, the bot's job was. To me, it's a percentage of energy, though. I've started to measure in my adult life, you've heard of decision fatigue, right? This concept. People get tired of something. You've reduced one decision in your day, and that allows more energy then for the family. So I think it's more than time.
No, exactly. I have a business coach and I've read all their books and everything like that. And it's all about just optimizing your time, because everybody says they work 8 hours a day. Then you say you're grinding for the 8 hours, but working 8 hours a day straight, that's a lot of work. Everybody can get a lot of work done, but if you can get the same amount of work done in 6 hours, that gives you 2 extra hours to go either enjoy a hobby that you have, some type of sport that you play, or just go hang out with your family, or go take a walk on the beach, for instance.
Optimizing time is important, and all those businesses hits it. All the business coaches hit it. For me, it's optimize energy, right? Where am I spending my energy? And 5 minutes, a moment can be so powerful versus 5 hours doing something else. So it's all about that energy.
Exactly.
Piece.
My whole calendar, I don't do my whole calendar because it's based off of my energy levels, and if I have a bunch of meetings, I stack on my meetings so I can get all of those done. And then usually the next day I don't have any meetings, so I can then just go through and actually get work done, so I can focus on those meetings beforehand during those time that I have it, and actually be present instead of trying to multi, triple, or quadruple task while I'm on a meeting. They're getting 10% of me. Might as well just schedule my work around it to where they actually get 100% of me, and we have great conversations and actually move the project on.
What's Up Renewables is growing, and we're looking for new sponsors to join us. Our show connects leaders, innovators, and field professionals across the renewable industry, and our sponsors are part of that conversation. Some have seen their network expand instantly. Others have grown revenue and brand visibility through the connections they've made right here. If you want your company to reach the people driving the future of clean energy, now's the time to get involved. Contact us at media@whatsuprenewables.com to become a sponsor today. I want to ask, what did your parents say when they found out you were hacking the nanny spyware stuff on your laptop or whatever it is?
They tried to keep like getting a better and better and better one on that side, which it's like, that's great and dandy because you can, back then it's like you could pay for them all, but just made it that much better for me. And it's bad to say it worked out in the long term on that side because now I can code with the best of them. So it's one of those. My dad's an engineer and he got me into CAD too at the very beginning, learning on that side because that's where he saw it was going. And then they didn't know that they were actually making me I don't like to use the term hacker, but I dabble in computer programming.
Well, they were definitely investing in your career by upgrading the nanny software
without even knowing it.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so you grew up gathering these skills from your parents, and then you go off to school, engineering, you get your entry-level jobs, and you build your career. So if you're advising a young engineer today in renewable energy, what would you tell them to focus on beyond the technical skill set?
Oh, man. That's a tough question right there. You put a ringer out there.
Well, you opened up with simplification, so you're beyond the technical, right? With your strategy and what you're sharing.
I would probably say just kind of do whatever's needed at that time and just kind of try to think of ahead what the next person wants to do. Like we have people on our team and it's like, I love when they come to me with like a solution, for instance, or they think of something where I don't even know that I needed that, but they actually came up with that idea. So it's more of, we've worked with employees that haven't worked out in the long term because it's not that they're not as motivated, but we like the individuals that are motivated to just take that extra step on that side. So it's more just do whatever you can. I think it's our generation. It was, we're going to work for 14, 16, 18 hours a day and just basically get as much work done so we can impress the older generation on that side. And then we're going to eventually take over from them. And then once we are starting to take over for them, it's more like we want what we had, but we want a little bit less, but we don't need to do as much work to get it. So just kind of just be a jack of all trades, a master of one, almost.
Okay. Jack of all trades, master of one. You opened with a bit of an old school inventor concept of focus on giving the people what they need, not what they want and ask for, right? Bring solutions, not just what people ask for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, anytime somebody on our team has an issue and they want to actually come talk to me, I'll talk them through any issue that they want for as long as they truthfully want. We can sit here for hours, but my only thing that I want them to actually come with me with that meeting is I want them to have 2 to 3 ideas that are going to rectify that issue. Because then that actually shows me they actually thought about it, thought through the issue, and then they just wanted somebody to basically validate what they actually thought about on that side. They already know what the best answer is. They just want to talk through it and have basically me almost give them the buy off when it's like, no, you already knew the answer. And you also came up with 3 other great instances that can solve it as well. But if you just need me to say, yeah, go ahead and do it, that's kind of what I'm here for is, hey, go ahead and do it. Nice slap on the butt and let's move on and call it a day.
Yes. You know how powerful that is for professionals, though? You know, I spent 21 years at GE, and this was, I didn't realize this till I left, but being around those folks that, spend time there like I did, you'd go to meetings and you bring your problem and solution and game plan and how we're going to execute whatever it is we're talking about. And you needed that feedback from those people, from your peers, and maybe they're your boss or your peers above, below, it doesn't matter, to make sure that you are making the right decision, even though you knew you did. And when you don't have that in your life, you do second guess yourself, and sometimes get to a point where you just can't figure out if you should take that step forward or not. So we need that as people.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. We all know what the right answer is. I mean, that's what our gut is for. Our gut's what? 99% always right. You just always need that one person that's like, just listen to your gut. Or it's bad to say, if you come up with 3 ideas, 2 of them might be bad, and one of them might be great, but another perspective might join all 3 of those ideas into one great idea that can not only fix your problem, but it might fix our entire team's problem. We didn't even know we had that problem on that side. So more just a collaboration. And that's how we kind of work, is come to me with an issue. You better have some solutions. And then if you don't, come back when you have some solutions, and I'm all ears.
Yeah. No such thing as a dumb question, because sometimes it's just that simple. You just needed another person to go, yep, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Great job. You already knew the answer. Now go do it.
That's it. And you should never feel dumb about doing it, because that's exactly what people need to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's pretty much it. Getting back to your question, is I think that's the best thing that probably suited me, is just kind of learning and being a jack of all trades on that side. For instance, I'm a mechanical and electrical engineer by trade, but my first actual engineering job when I moved back to Texas is I led a civil engineering team. Had no idea what civil engineering was, but they just needed somebody that knew solar to teach everybody, because there weren't a lot of civil solar engineers. So I was like, yeah, I can do a lot of work. I can learn civil, and as long as we have the smarter people that have the licenses and they can teach me the terminology, is I can run the people and hire the right people and let the team actually grow on that side. And I mean, 75% of our work right now at AMH is all heavy civil work.
Well, great answer. Great stories. Phil, what's next for you and AMH?
Oh, we're just taking basically everything day by day. We're doing a lot of marketing this year just to kind of get the overall like solar simplified message out, and just going to have some fun while we're doing it on that side. I'll try to have some new hobbies this year and kind of just go from there, and meet a bunch of people through LinkedIn and all the different aspects, meet some more people at some of these trade shows that are all coming up, and just try to keep into the industry and keep a tone of it on that side.
Well, Phil, that sounds wonderful. I love your approach. I love what you guys at AMH are doing, and your mindset about connecting and communicating with people and keeping it simple, or simplifying the process. And whatever we can do to help get that message out, we'll do that for you. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. And if you see us on the rolls at the conferences, let's definitely get together.
Hey, definitely. And just for everybody that's also listening or anything like that, if they just send me a message on LinkedIn, just the word simplify, we put together basically a 3-page, like just checklist, basically a nice little booklet. I had our team put it together for y'all's podcast, where we'll just send it over to them so they can kind of see exactly what we're trying to do over at AMH. So just send me a message of simplify and we'll get it sent right over to y'all.
I love it. Sounded like the 10% off season giveaway or something.
Yeah, just a solar giveaway on that side, for instance.
I love it. And we'll make sure to include that in the posts and prompts when we get this stuff out of there. But kudos to you, man.
It.
Great career. Sounds like a very cool team. And you guys are just going to stick in it and keep growing with the country.
Hey, that's the plan. We're just here for the long haul. Like I said, we're a resilient industry nowadays, so everybody better get used to seeing us.
That's great. Any final comments or anything else, Phil? Anything we missed?
No, not so far on my side. I appreciate you taking the time today to talk with me, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a great conversation, so appreciate it.
It's been very nice getting to know you, and look forward to following you and HMH. Thanks for your time, Phil.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.